Why does she have apples and nuts? It is a candy house. Heard once of a witch who made a salami house. It was rubbish in the heat. No children at all, but very healthy. Could run for ages. Could soak up a lot of buckshot too. Lots of buckshot. You would not believe how many people I had to kill to scrape together the money to afford the buckshot. Not to mention the gun. I just realized I'm rambling. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I've been rambling this whole time. Very sorry about that. Anyway, afterwards she tucked them into beds. Does not mention whether the beds were made of candy, but I like to believe that the beds were made of candy floss, which can be very, very sticky. Which would have been a smart thing. The old woman, who was really a wicked witch, had only pretended to be kind and sweet. I believe this story is biased against grown women. Just a thought. While they were sleeping, she seized Hansel, the idiot, with no survival instincts and no sense of riches, and locked him in a little closet behind a grated door. Then she took Gretel and told her to fetch water and cook something good for Hansel. And Gretel did not run away. Gretel is also an idiot, but because of the author's sexism, we don't really see much of her actions. She just cries and does housework. Ah, different time periods. When he is fat, the witch said with glee, I will eat him. Can you get diabetes by eating somebody who's been bloated on sugar? You certainly can't get much sustenance. He's going to be mostly fat. And cannibals really need to learn to prioritize. Gretel cried. Told you. But she was forced to do what the Wicked Witch commanded. For some reason. Let's assume magic. She cooked all the best food in the house for poor Hansel, but she was giving nothing to eat but dry bread crusts. Candy. Candy, people. Candy. Candy. Why would you have working ovens? It's a candy house. Just break off a piece of the wall and feed it to Hansel. Feed it. Heck, make him eat his way out of the closet, then stick him in another closet while you rebuild that closet. It's delicious irony. Literally. I mean, he's gonna be sad and crying and probably heaving or something. But he's gonna be getting candy. And being motivated to eat entire walls of candy. It's a great plan. Come on, admit it, that's a great plan. Everyone's happy. Except for Gretel, but you've probably killed her by now. On sweets. Probably a blunt instrument just to work out some pent-up aggression. Also dry bread. I would give her nutshells myself, since we went out of our way to mention nuts. Piece of dust. Piece of dust. Every morning the old woman crept to the little closet and told Hansel to stretch out his finger to see if he would soon be fat enough to make a tasty meal. Hansel, however, was very smart. Very smart. Do I need to remind them of the diamonds? The diamonds! He stretched out a little chicken bone to her. Why would you give this guy chicken? Candy house. Honestly. The old woman, who had failing eyesight, thought it was his finger. The fact that she could not feel flesh of any kind did not disturb her. Also, she was in her 30s, she just had an unfortunate stigmatism. Which again, Untreated in those days, I don't believe they had even invented eyeglasses. They had invented blunt instruments, though, which are significantly lacking. To my regret. Week after week went by, but she was astonished that he ate and ate without gaining a single pound. And she neglected to check for puke. I would have checked for puke. I also would have beaten him over the head or fed him candy. When a month had passed, the witch told Gretel she could not wait any longer. Whether Hansel is fat or thin, tomorrow I will kill him and cook him and eat him. The witch laughed. Do not see what use she has for Gretel still being alive. Also, just realized why the chicken makes sense. Protein. Retract my statement about fattening him up being stupid, which is actually very smart, but a little unfortunate, and very not good at knowing how much flesh is normally on people. Maybe she thinks it's the zombie apocalypse. Is that trending in the time period I'm sending this to? Am I even sending this to a time period with video? Wonder how that will transfer. Anyway. The next morning the witch woke Gretel and told her that it was time to bake some bread to eat with her meal of Hansel. The oven is warming and the dough is rising, the witch said. Creep inside the oven and see if it is hot enough to put the bread in. Was this a legitimate cooking tactic back in the day? Did they seriously? Hey, little Timmy, check if the oven's hot. I can totally see the dough rising, but just crawl into that oven and see if it's hot enough to bake bread. That has got to be like exclusively a child murdering trick. And a sick one at that, and also probably really inefficient. Because even at bread baking temperatures, yes, the kid's going to get serious burns, but they're probably going to also hop right back out. Idiots. Gretel was smart too. Wouldn't know that. All she's done is cry and mindlessly serve. Sexism. Right here. Sexism's a relevant issue, right? I don't know. Pick whatever reasoning you want for that one. I do not know if sexism is relevant in the time period I'm sending this to. Also, not socially connected enough to care. And she knew that the witch intended to lock her up in the oven, bake her, and eat her too. See, child murdering trick. I don't understand, Gretel said. How can I get in? The witch then beat her with a stick for being so stupid. I'm kidding, of course. Silly, said the old woman. That door is big enough. Look, I can fit in myself. Okay, I retract my statement about the witch being smart. They're all stupid. They're all stupid. Everyone in this story. Stupid, 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 stupid. The old witch crept up and thrust her head into the oven. Dumb. Then clever Gretel gave her a big push and shoved her all the way in. How the heck does a child of we don't know what age shove you into an oven? She shut the iron door and fastened the bolt. The witch began to howl and scream, but Gretel would not let her out. Gretel ran like lightning to Hansel, set him free, and cried, "Hansel, we are saved! The old witch is dead!" 30s, Gretel. 30s and with stigmatism. They hugged and danced with joy. In the witch's house they found chests filled with pearls and jewels. They filled their pockets with the treasures. Hansel would then use these treasures to lay a trail back to the gingerbread house, in case they wanted to ransack it for the candy. But how will we get home? Gretel asked. Don't worry, Hansel said. I will find a way. They then wandered off and starved. Kidding, of course. Wish I was not. Fortunately for the children, the witch's house was not far from the woodcutter's cabin, and soon they were home. They rushed into the parlour and threw their arms around their father's neck. He had not known one happy hour since he had left his children in the forest, and their stepmother was dead, poisoned by her own cruel spirit. More likely she was crushed by a falling rock in the diamond mine that she was wisely ransacking. Hansel and Gretel showed their father. No, this story isn't progressive enough for them to have fathers. Showed their father the pearls and precious stones, and they all lived happily ever after. I really hope the audio was good quality on that, because that took a long time. Anyway, this has been me, Commander Snap Centino of the Space Crickets, in the middle of tormented space, reading a fairy tale. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Despite my criticisms, I genuinely did, and I thoroughly enjoy this story. And honestly, looking through the history of Earth's media, and all the various attempts at a gritty reboot of the story, I honestly much prefer the idiot-filled version to the ones where Hansel and Gretel grow up to be witch hunters. No comment about possible future plans of a certain Mr. Unger, because you might call me a hypocrite for that, despite the fact that he and I are most definitely not the same person. He would not be caught dead wearing this shirt. So, from the desk of the Space Crickets, that is me, Commander Snap Centino, signing off. You probably don't deserve a salute, whoever you are. Oh, and, by the way, hail the Pop-Tart Army!